There was a by-election in Durham, and the Conservative candidate won with approximately 57% of the vote. What does this mean for the Liberals, for the Conservatives, and for the next election? Well, first off, in his victory speech, he called Doug Ford's Conservatives liberal elites, but we'll get back to that. For perspective, voter turnouts during by-elections are always less than the regular elections, and when voter turnouts are low, Conservatives tend to overperform. But that's not to say that's the only reason why Jamil Jivani did so well. It's just to point out a habit and a history of the fact that Liberal and NDP voters don't tend to turn up when there is low voter turnout. Conservatives, regardless of the voter turnout, are more likely on average to show up to vote. And in the last federal election, Aaron O'Toole, who was the candidate for the Conservatives, got more votes than were cast in this entire by-election. But Jamil Jivani also won this riding with the highest share of the votes in recent history. Considering this riding's history, I don't think that this blowout is necessarily a concern for the Liberals, and I don't think it's necessarily that big of a win for the Conservatives. It's really much more of the status quo that we've seen over the last few election cycles. So when Jamil Jivani won, he said in his speech that there were too many liberal elites in this country, talking both about the Federal Liberal Party as well as people who run and own corporations, and Doug Ford's party, specifically the Ministry of Education and Stephen Lecce. And Jamil Jivani was fired from a position that he held with Doug Ford's government because he was a little bit too far right for Doug Ford's Conservatives. He's a bit of an anti-vaxxer. And to Doug's credit, he hasn't really been putting up with that in his party. But in case you want an understanding of where Pierre's Conservatives are, according to them, Doug Ford's Conservatives are too left-wing for them.